The greenhouse in Stardew Valley is one of the most useful resources in the game and can make a huge difference both financially and aesthetically for your farm. If you're new here, I'm JunimoB, and in today's video we're going to go over all of the ins and outs of how the greenhouse works, suggestions on crops to plant, layouts to try out, and so much more. Also, I do have an exciting announcement at the end of this video, so be sure to stick around till the end for that. Now let's get right into it. If you're watching this video, you're likely familiar with the fact that at the beginning of the game, the greenhouse appears to be broken and unusable, and there are two options to unlocking it. First, if you've purchased the Joja membership, I'll try to hold back any judgment. You simply need to spend 35,000 G for the Greenhouse Community Development Project, and with that, overnight the Joja team will come and repair the building. The second, more recommended option in my opinion, is through completing the pantry bundles in the community center, leaving the Junimos to repair the building overnight as well. Now, once you've repaired the building, you'll notice that it has a 10 by 12 space of tillable soil in the center, and this restoration will also allow you to move your greenhouse anywhere in the bounds of your farmland. What also makes this space so desirable is that, being protected by its exterior, no crows or lightning will interfere with your harvest, and even more importantly, you can plant any crop from any season at any time of the year. So what should you be planting? The number one suggestion from me, and almost any experienced Stardew Valley player out there, would be ancient fruit. Now, you can't purchase ancient seeds anywhere. They're found a number of different ways around the valley, including potentially getting some from your seed maker randomly. I do have a short form video going over a bunch of different ways to acquire them if you're interested, but what makes ancient fruit such a go-to for your greenhouse comes from a few different factors. First, although their growth time is 28 days, their sell price is one of the highest among all of the crops in the game, selling for over 1,000 each at iridium quality, and because you don't have to purchase them, you're pretty much making all profit up front. With that, placing any level ancient fruit into a preserves jar will yield you ancient fruit jelly worth 1,150 G without the artisan profession, which means you'll be doubling the value of a regular ancient fruit that sells for 550, so using a form of speed grow to lessen that growth time and sacrifice quality will not be an issue. And if you're thinking how a crop like this may not be sustainable if you can't purchase it anywhere, that brings us to another reason why it's great for the greenhouse, as it's a crop that produces multiple harvests, meaning you can plant it and practically forget about it, which is one of the most important factors for me personally, and why I'd also suggest planting other reoccurring crops like blueberries, cranberries, and especially strawberries, as strawberries in particular can only be purchased at the Egg Festival, and each of these crops are fairly valuable when sold. Speaking of valuable, starfruit is also a huge moneymaker at 1,500 apiece at iridium quality, and its growth time is about half of an ancient fruit seed's, so it's another great option for your greenhouse. However, it is a one-time harvest, so for me personally, I do tend to plant starfruit exclusively on Ginger Island, but don't let my laziness deter you. Rare seeds that produce sweet gemberries are one I'd also recommend planting in any extra spaces you have in your greenhouse, simply because these take 24 days to grow and are extremely valuable, actually the most valuable crop in the game, selling for 6,000 G each at iridium quality. And finally, I'd suggest planting your coffee beans here as well, not for financial purposes necessarily, but instead to create a small coffee farm where you'll be able to continually turn your beans into plenty of triple shot espresso, as this too is a multiple harvest crop. And I think this is the perfect spot to mention that your greenhouse can also be used not as much for excessive profits, but also for other utility purposes when choosing what crops to plant. You could always use the space to grow your spouse's favorite flower or grow grapes to make raisins for the Junimos, and I know that some people find it really useful to have one of every single crop planted to take as needed. And this is where a seed maker would be super helpful as well. With all of these crops, especially if you're trying to build out your amount of ancient fruit planted, a seed maker can be used to produce 1 to 3 of the same variety of the crop put in, or in rarer cases, 1 to 4 mixed seeds, or even 1 packet of ancient seeds when an ancient fruit was not put in. Now that you've got an idea of what crops you're going to want to plant, it's time to actually plant them. And you might notice that the greenhouse's sprinkler layouts are not the most ideal, as the space itself is not exactly symmetrical. I'm sorry if I've burst your bubble, but that's why I'm going to be sharing 4 of what I consider to be the best sprinkler placements for the different stages you may be at in the game. Setup number 1 is for those of you who may not have any iridium sprinklers yet, but still want the most effective layout using quality sprinklers. It may be an obvious one, but using 16 quality sprinklers, you'll simply space them out by their 3x3 areas with 4 in the back on the outer edge, allowing 108 crops to be planted. Layout 2 is for those of you in the next phase with 4 iridium sprinklers to cover the 20x20 section in the middle while using 8 quality sprinklers on the outer edge in order to make up for the 10 unwatered tiles per side, bringing us a total of 116 crops planted, and I personally feel like this one does look quite nice. Layout 3 is for when you've got your hands on 2 pressure nozzles from Mr. Key's Walnut Room. By placing 2 iridium sprinklers without nozzles on one side of the soil covering a 5x20 area and placing one of the iridium sprinklers with a nozzle 4 tiles in from the side and the back or front, and the second iridium sprinkler with a nozzle on the opposite side of the greenhouse on the outer edge, you'll be able to plant 117 crops. And for the 4th layout and the most effective use of space, allowing you to plant 119 crops in your greenhouse, you will need 5 iridium sprinklers, all with pressure nozzles. One will be placed 4 tiles from the back or front and 7 tiles in from the left, while the 4 remaining sprinklers will line the outer edge to make up the remaining unwatered areas. If you are at the point where you have access to Ginger Island and these sprinkler layouts with the pressure nozzles are not really something you're interested in, I would suggest taking a look at a different vendor on the island, the Island Trader, to purchase something called Deluxe Retaining Soil. If you're familiar with regular retaining soil or the quality retaining soil, you know that this type of fertilizer retains water, allowing you to have plants grow without sprinklers or manually watering them for some time. However, the deluxe version will retain the water 100% of the time, making it the perfect replacement for sprinklers in your greenhouse, and it's really not too costly. The recipe is purchased once for 50 cinder shards, and to craft them you'll just need basic ingredients like stone, fiber, and clay. The main downside here is that you won't be able to place down any other fertilizers like Speed Grow or any quality fertilizers, but you will be able to utilize all 120 tiles, and this also opens up the doors to make additional greenhouse alternatives. By purchasing a shed from Robin and placing down garden pots with deluxe retaining soil, you can replicate the conditions of a greenhouse multiple times throughout your farm. The most optimal layout being in a big shed providing 167 spaces for plants to be harvested with an iridium scythe. But even without choosing the most optimal setup, you can still take advantage of this strategy in a way that works best for you. Just note that ancient seeds cannot be planted in garden pots. However, that isn't stopping you from opting to make a shed greenhouse for your coffee production or doing something entirely for aesthetics. And garden pots are not just useful in sheds, but can be placed on the outer edge of your greenhouse as well. And that is not the only thing you should be using the outskirts of your greenhouse for. Fruit trees can actually be planted along the sides and the flooring, and similar to crops, any fruit trees will grow and bear fruit regardless of time of year. And if you space your trees out efficiently, you can actually fit 18 trees while still having the space look pretty nice and not overly crowded. By spacing them out with 2 tiles in between each tree like I'm doing here, you'll find that 4 trees can fit in the front, 4 on each side, and 6 can line the back wall, bringing our total to 18 trees as promised. You can also do a variation of this where there are more trees in front, for example, just as long as the trees are all spaced out correctly. Now, do note that fruit trees won't be able to grow if there are any objects or paths in their 3x3 areas, so if you're planning on placing down garden pots like we mentioned earlier, you will have to wait until the trees have fully matured and begun bearing fruit, and by that point there will no longer be an issue, allowing you to place all of your items and flooring right up close as you please. And on another more positive note, as of update 1.6, when you chop down a fruit tree, its sapling will return to you. So if you've already planted fruit trees outdoors that you'd like to move inside, or if you plant a tree incorrectly, don't sweat it. It's all an easy fix. Now, as my last piece of advice for this greenhouse guide, I would like to give you all permission to simply ignore all of this advice I've given today and instead make your greenhouse nice and cutesy and whatever makes you happy. The greenhouse is one of the areas you can really hone in on your design if you want to, with the ability to put pathing down and utilize trees indoors, so just have fun with it. Efficiency obviously isn't everything, but I do hope that you've been able to take away something useful from this video, whether you're looking to get a little help starting out or maximize your production to the fullest in this space. I hope it was helpful. And with that, I do have a little announcement as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and that is that I am introducing memberships. We were just able to hit 200,000 subscribers on the channel, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Little me would never be able to fathom it, so thank you so incredibly much for making this a reality. Now with the memberships, there are 3 tiers: the Junimo tier, the Junimore tier, and the Junimost tier, and each offers some exclusive perks. I do want to put it out there now, though, that none of these perks will make any of the current type of content I'm making blocked behind a paywall. Everything offered is in addition to the videos I already make and is really just an overall way to support me and my content, allowing me to spend more time making videos like these, especially long-form videos, while also being given things like exclusive emojis, badges, sticker mail in the higher tiers, and more. So thank you again for all of your support. You'll be able to find the join button in the description of this video or on my channel if you're on desktop. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will hopefully see you all very, very soon. Okay, love you, bye!